All right, so we're about at our year anniversary from my last update on this 240-gallon tank with the sump. Um, Things have been kind of up and down. At times I haven't been able to take care of my tank like I wanted to, but what I wanted to focus in on today is this mass of Java moss. On my last video, if you were able to watch that, you know, this thing was it was pretty small, and what has happened is through careful planning and a little bit of time and effort, it's grown into what's basically my little fish whorehouse. So what we do here is, let's get in a little bit closer because I want you to see this. Babies and babies and babies just live in this thing. They come in and out of it, and this is sort of the breeding ground of the tank now. You can see just a few there on the outside. If we go to an aerial view, there probably some living through the top. You can see a few right up there. And this thing just, you know, this is their safe haven. So this is where pretty much everybody goes to have babies. And what we're aiming to do is, on both sides of the tank, we're going to have the same thing going on. This is one that I just started on this side of the tank, and I've given it plenty of stuff to base itself on here, and you can already see that they also use this side as a little safe haven. And one of the things that I am experiencing now, after this tank being set up for almost 2 years now, is that population booms are just happening all over the place. Now, if you did watch my other videos, you'll notice that the amount of variety and the thickness and height of all the plants is kind of varied. The cryptocorynes have sort of spread out really well. They've made a little habitat that proves to be really beneficiary for all the fish down here on the bottom. And my swords are kind of sporadic all over the place. The water sprites that we had off in here are this is the main one that's left, and he's doing pretty good. You have to understand, one of the main points of this tank and the initial concept of this tank was so that I wouldn't have to do anything to it. It's just a tank that sits here and sort of does its own thing, and I don't have to spend a whole lot of time manipulating or doing anything to it. It's very cost efficient. I feed my fish probably once a day, if that, and everything else is based off them being self-sustaining in this tank. And one of the best ways to allow that to happen is the thing that's causing us to have this view right here, which alongside of the scratchiness of the glass, which this is a second-hand tank. It was previously a saltwater tank, so it's got quite a few scratches from rocks and things like that. But I want you to kind of get a view of all that's a really good view right there of the algae that gets built up in here. And they feed a lot off of that, which is kind of what you want as a supplement of food that they can have without breaking your bank on feeding them all the time. Of course, like I've said before, they also feed off of a lot of the babies that are born inside of the tank. And with this constant rotation of babies being born, what we have here is exactly what we're looking for. You get maximized health, and if you're looking at this guy right here, this is third generation, and what we're really hoping for, what we're trying to get at, is basically we want a strand to develop, which will be kind of like this. Let me see if I can get back on him. They disappear in here really quick. There should be another one right here. There we go. You see this platy right here? This platy is a cross in between the pineapple swordtails, the neon platies, and the red wag platies, and we're trying to accentuate that as best we can without altering the natural course of it ourselves. We're just gonna, kind of let whatever happens happen, but when it does happen, we're hoping that we get something absolutely magnificent out of it. And thus far, that's exactly what has gone on. My platies are the most prolific breeders in the tank by far. So if you're spanning around and looking, when you get over, okay, you can see right there, it highlights some of these are the hybrids. You can see it back there. I'm sorry, that glare is catching us. It highlights some of the hybrids with that natural neon color. Now look at that swordtail. That swordtail is a cross. And so now we've got platies that are being crossed, and they're bringing out this neon color, and swordtails that are being crossed to bring out this neon color. I'm sorry, I got a little too close to the tank, and now we're getting one of these mass fish balls. And this is the funny part right here, is that it's amazing to see the numbers of fish that we have in here. That's just that one little small space, and then still back over the rest of the tank, you can tell there's at least another 100 of these guys just moving all over the place. To include the babies, so we're going to get the recycling of the tank. That is, that when the older ones get too old and start dying off, there's a fresh crop coming in right after them. So everything that we've been hoping for, besides the existential variety of plant growth that was expected, has come into fruition. So hopefully this trend will continue, and you can see, if you're looking at all those little white dots right there, those are all going to be mollies. I mean, that's a lot. Now the ones you can't really get a good look at on the inside are going to be the platy crosses like this. And the beautiful thing about it is none of these guys have taken color yet, so it's going to be really interesting to see exactly what develops from them. We've also got, if I can find one, some of these babies. Here's one right there. Some of these babies are of a little bit of a different design. I'm sorry, there's some algae that I can't get to on the front of the glass, which is the only part of this tank that I actually take time to clean, because the rest of it is to remain natural. Looks like he's disappeared back into that Java moss, but there he is right there. Can't really get a good look at him, but he's a little bit, they're a little bit of a different variety of these guys developing all over the place. And come on out of there, little fella. And it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of color patterns we can make. Now, talking about the patterns, there's a female swordtail in here that has developed sort of a vibrant gray hue on the front part of her torso, if you can call it a torso, but right above the dorsal fin, approaching up to her snout, that entire portion right there is this really sort of, it's like a neon gray. She's really she's got a vibrant gray on her, and it's something to behold. It's amazing. But at the moment, it doesn't look like I can see her. Let's see if maybe that is not her. So at some point in time, maybe when I do my next update, she'll come out and play with us, and you'll get a chance to see exactly what I'm talking about here. So anyway, that's a little update for now. Hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll talk to you next time.